My salary when I was working at Verizon at the age of 22 years old was more than Angel Reese's salary of $73,000 in her rookie season in the WNBA. The league is paying its players peanuts compared to other professional sports leagues. And when your product, the players, have to go to places like Russia to get an adequate compensation, to me, that means your business is failing. And now we're starting to see new entities like the brand new Unrivaled Basketball League popping up. Some of the most popular players from the W are getting paid $1 million to hoop in a new 6-team 3-on-3 league, which I find to be absolutely lit. But there's a bigger fix here. Why aren't athletes and entertainers pulling their money together to create a direct competitor of the WNBA? Why are so many people waiting for the system to get it right and do right by these women instead of simply creating an entirely new system, one that is going to have incredible amounts of ROI? The growth of the women's game is inevitable. We see it. There is enough capital between top-tier athletes to fund a league of their own for these women. Ownership, true ownership, can be so much more robust than having 2% of a franchise. You can be a league founder and help reshape the entirety of the sports landscape forever and impact women. So why not do that? Why not be the change while making a strategic business move? Why not figure out a way to create the thing you want to see exist? The resources are there at this stage of life. It's just going to take one disruptor to do it, and the rest will hop on the bandwagon. We know how this goes, because honestly, there is no way that Angel Reese should be getting paid as much as a college dropout handling inbound calls in a cubicle. So my fumble of the week goes to a system that is currently failing women hoopers. It is absolutely time to get them paid. Samaria, is it in the realm of possibility for someone to swoop in and create a rival league for the W?
I mean, if they do, it's going to be very challenging because you're going to have to play during the same time. You're going to have to get majority of these women to make the switch. And I think that sometimes when you're the first at something, it's difficult. Like, nobody wants to take that first leap. And I think that's kind of what we're seeing now. I guess my question to you is, do you feel like any of the leagues that's out right now, you said Unrivaled, and then also Athletes Unlimited, I was covering them in Nashville. That's, I think, where they're doing their championship. Do you feel like any of these leagues could actually make that jump, or do you think it needs to be a completely brand new entity?
So I have a problem sometimes when there's all these like things that pop up that are super individualized, and I recognize it's a company, but like those two entities should actually be working together to create a. And so because people don't necessarily like to work with people who maybe they don't know, or maybe that will take away some of the credit and shine, it creates moments like these. Like it doesn't make sense why there should be two new pop-up leagues instead of collaborating on one and getting one, having more teams, right? Incorporating more players, because the new Unrivaled League is 6 teams, 3-on-3 basketball. It should be a full 5-on-5 game, right? Like that's just what it should be, flat out. I would hope that the WNBA figures out a way to get these players paid more. But I'm watching in real time male high school athletes make more money than female professional athletes. The OTE league is a phenomenal structure that we can look at and say, all right, there's something here, right? Those kids are getting paid more money than Angel Reese to play high school basketball. So the solve exists. I just think the right people have to get behind it. And I think getting in early on the ground floor is going to be greatly beneficial for somebody out there who's willing to take the risk.
I think another big point is the NBA and their affiliation, obviously, to the W. Would the NBA jump ship?
Yeah, I doubt that. I think that they're too tied in together, right? I mean, it's the WNBA after all, so you be hard pressed to abandon that. But one of the things that when I've thrown this concept out there before is that from an arena standpoint, there's not enough real estate to warrant having these. I was talking about the NBA when I brought it up in the past, but they would say that to have an arena and to get arena, and land is a really challenging thing, right? It's the real estate component that made it challenging for it to happen in the NBA. But in the WNBA, a lot of their games are not even played in NBA arenas, right? You take a look at a team like the Mystics, and they're playing in basically a practice facility. So I
Right.
think that there are smaller venues that could be a lot more accommodating than having to have a full scale NBA size arena for another rival basketball league. And if the real estate exists and you can contractually, have cities and markets that have somewhat of an infrastructure for a professional sports league in a smaller venue, then I think you do that. I think you take the big three formula as well. Like there's something out there. It exists. It's permeating and percolating, and I can feel it. But I just think for whatever reason, somebody's a little bit apprehensive about pulling the trigger.
Yeah, and I think that we, the media, also need to do our due diligence, because I remember when I was just in Nashville and we had, like I said, Athletes Unlimited come and do their championship. I think the season is going on right now, I believe. And I remember talking to a coworker and I'm like, hey, like, I want to cover this. Like, it's not just, women that didn't play, or maybe they were overseas and now they came back. I was like, you actually have women from the WNBA playing in this league, so we should cover this. And they were like, don't nobody care about that. So, I think we too have to put it out there as well, and go to events and cover games and cover practices and all of the things as well, because we can get the women there, but the media has to do a good job at covering it as well.
Right. Yeah. And my last point is, the WNBA is unique in that all the best women's players in the world are not necessarily playing in the WNBA because
Right. Well, that's true. Yeah.
So, there is a large swath of women hoopers overseas who do not play in the WNBA who are cold.
Mm-hmm.
So you also then have a whole nother pool of players to pull from, and you can really make an impact on a global scale if you're able to create a centralized location for women to feel like they are adequately being compensated and respected, because the fans are there, the viewership is there, the opportunity exists. But with that said, you all let us know your thoughts on my fumble of the week. Do you feel like the infrastructures that are currently in existence are failing women basketball players by not paying them adequate salaries? Y'all let us know your thoughts in the comments section below.